The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And here we are, episode 106.
106.
Cool. What are we talking about?
This is She Talks to Angels.
I
Yes.
love these ones. This is, I am assuming, she meaning you.
That means me.
All right, cool.
I am she.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Cool. Well, before we hop into this really fun one, anything from last week?
Yeah, I have a few things from last week. So last week we did Let's Talk to Pets, and I have a little bit of feedback. There was Coda, and Coda was the dog that was sitting, a past dog that was sitting with somebody sick that I was seeing, that her spirit was with somebody that was sick.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so this is Kathy's response. Wow, okay, you're right. She was a chill girl, did not have separation anxiety at all, liked to come with us, but was never strung out when we left the home, like her brother dog Mocha is. He loses it if we leave for even 10 minutes. She was an old soul, and you're very right. She was 16 when she passed. As for the sick person who was laying with her, are you able to tell me who this is, or even if it's male or female, and if the person will be okay? I think you said she can hear me talking to her. I do every night. Sometimes I hear a reply.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I talked to Kathy a little bit about this, and I was trying to pinpoint if this was a male or female, and I couldn't. I kept going back and forth, male, female, male, female, male, and I couldn't, pinpoint it.
We're talking about a spirit.
We're talking about a dog spirit that has been hanging out with a living person.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a living person.
An elderly living person?
Well, not necessarily elderly, just somebody that I felt was sick.
Sick, okay.
And the dog is comforting this person while they're sick.
I see. Okay.
So I kept going back and forth on if it was male or female. Well, it comes to find out that she has a male friend that's sick and her mother is sick.
Wow.
So I think that's why I couldn't pinpoint, because it was actually both.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the dog is visiting these two sick people, and so, but I think they're going to be okay. One is COVID. The man was COVID related, I believe. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, but so thank you, Kathy, for the feedback, and I hope that your friend and I hope your friend and your mom are feeling better.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy.
Yes. And then I have one other. This is from Jackie. She had the hairless cat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sam, for the reading of Artie. You were right. Artie passed of HCM, which is cardiomyopathy. It's funny how you mentioned right now wasn't the perfect time for another kitten. I do have Lola, my macaw, that you were feeling needed my focus. You're probably right, because since she's going to be about 2 and she's leaving the baby phase and entering adolescence, she's getting a bit stubborn and doesn't bite me hard, but is more apt to use her beak.
Wow.
She had learned to say stop, stop it, and no, since I say these words to her all the time. I am waiting for the Amazon to pick up on those words as well. Who really needs my attention? And I wonder if you're picking up on it. Might be my dog Mitzi. She was diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension, which is a heart disease that will most likely take her eventually. She is on 5 pills a day, plus she is diabetic. She is going to be 14 in a couple of weeks, so this recent diagnosis, literally a week ago, isn't totally surprising. She is responding well to the medication and seems to be happy, so we will continue plugging along. Your podcast, as usual, was phenomenal. Thanks so much for reaffirming for me that my boy Artie will come back to me.
Nice.
So sometimes I edit these because, they get kind of long, but I wanted to address a couple of things in this for Jackie.
Right.
So she had said maybe it was Mitzi. And this might sound weird when I say this, but I'm saying this to other people too, that, okay, you want to put your focus into an older animal that, is sick, but that animal is leaving. Mm-hmm. So really the focus that with that animal, with Mitzi, that you would want is just time, just spending time,
Right, because she is young.
No, I mean for the dog that's sick.
Right,
that's
but
older, yeah.
But because Mitzi's young.
Mitzi's the dog that's older.
Oh, I'm sorry, the bird. I'm sorry, the bird.
So anyway, so for Mitzi, I just think that you need to spend more time with her, but I don't think that that's necessarily about putting your energy into her. I think that the energy needs to go into Lola, the bird, because she's 2 and she has a very long life ahead of her.
Yeah.
So I hope that that makes sense, that I don't mean don't put energy into Mitzi, but she's 14 with problems. She's, ready to move on to the other side. So there's not a lot that you need to put your focus in there.
Right.
The focus should be with raising the other one that's going to be with you for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that bird could live longer than you. I don't have to tell you that. So
No, that could live long.
Yeah, Jackie's a bird person. She knows. So, yeah.
Yeah, there was something about that. Oh, because I remember the reading now. It was coming back to me, and you kind of said, I'm getting this feeling like there's another animal, and you have a couple animals.
Yeah.
But I'm getting this feeling like somebody needs your attention.
Yeah.
But you said
The macaw, Lola.
You got the bird, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that does make sense. It's kind of like both. I mean,
Yeah.
Mitzi needs the attention, but because it's not chasing like a little puppy around, it's not going to take a huge amount of energy. The energy is going to go into Lola.
Older dogs sleep a lot, so she probably sleeps, 20 hours a day. So really, she doesn't so much need your focus as the bird that probably drives you crazy from the time the sun comes up until it goes down.
Yeah, watch that beak.
Yeah, birds are tough, man. They really are. I give it to Jackie. She's a very good bird owner. When I say that people should not own birds, she's one of the people, because I used to do pet sitting for her. She's one of the people that I would say does not fall into that category, because she does take really good care of them. So.
But that's our own personal opinion.
Yeah, I just think birds need, if you're going to keep them, and if you're going to keep them as pets, they need freedom as well, and they need good foods. They need you to, artificially recreate their environment as much as you can, and there's some people that are good at that and some aren't, and Jackie is very good at that.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie. So that's all I have from last week.
Awesome. Great. Well, episode 106 then.
106.
She talks to angels.
He does talk to angels.
And you're about to.
Yes, I am. But that's not all that we're going to do.
No. I was just joking.
Yeah, we're also going to answer some questions, listener questions.
Yes,
and these
there were some
are
good ones.
Good questions.
Cool.
I'm excited about these. So we had a few people in the discussion group that added questions. One of them was Shannon, and she had so many great questions, so a lot of these are hers. So I just wanted to say thank you up front, Shannon, for a lot of these questions.
Nice.
They are really
Thanks,
good.
Shannon.
And then in between the questions, like we did last week, I'll do readings.
Cool.
Okay.
Excited.
Me too. So let's get started. Okay, for the first question was, what do spirits do for fun?
Okay.
I love this question. It's very different. It's like asking what people do for fun. It's really whatever you want. Like, I've come to see that they really can go travel, see places that they didn't see when they were alive, or places like that they really loved. Like, I'm sure I'll spend a lot of time at Disneyland. It's one of my favorite places, So you can do that. You can go and do whatever you want. And it is like feeling it all over again. Except you don't have to wait in line like when you go to Disneyland as a spirit, because you can
especially if you're kind of following along with maybe loved ones or family that are going.
Yes.
In real life. To do it, you can experience that through them.
Yes, when we got married at Disney World, and it was just like a week after my grandmother died. And I wasn't a medium. Well, maybe I was, but I didn't know at that time that I was a medium. But I knew that she was there, and I was actually more excited that she could be with us and experience that with us instead of being sick in a bed, And I know that they were. They're a lot of times they're there not even just for like their pleasure to enjoy these things, but they enjoy seeing us happy.
Yes.
That makes them happy.
Yes.
So it's just, it's unconditional love. So.
It's true. I mean, just the thing, let's take Rob for an example. The guy was one of the most, if not the most phenomenal, besides Milo, drummer I've ever had the opportunity to play with and even see play in other groups.
Yeah.
And he's around here constantly.
Yeah.
Because that's what he loves.
Exactly.
His soul loves music.
That's right.
And we happen to have a connection.
Right.
And so he knows that because maybe, he achieved a lot in his time here, but it was cut short.
Yes.
And he knows he could have achieved more. So because he's not in the physical and he can't do that right now, he can help others.
That's right. That's
and
right.
why not help your friends, your family, whatever.
That's right.
So
yeah.
and the example with the green guitar picks is a perfect example. It's just,
Yeah.
I just showed you the other day. Here's another one.
Yep. Yeah, and even like the things that we might not think that like that spirit might take with them and think is fun. Like, for example, my dad helped me buy my car. But that's fun for him. And it's what he did. So he'll come with me and do those types of things
Yeah.
where things that my mom liked to do, she'll be around more. And then if it's like a big family event, they're always around. I mean, it's incredible now that I can feel them so much that it's like, whew, everybody's here, So that is really, I would say, what they do the most for fun is
Right.
they like to hang around us and go places, do things like that. But, for them, fun is kind of different. Even learning for them is fun.
Yeah.
They like to learn.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Next question. Why are spirits more active at night? So this is a question that when I read it, I couldn't honestly answer it at the time I read it. And I was like, ooh, they're going to let's talk about it on the show. And maybe it'll start coming through to me, right? Because I have myself noticed this. And a lot of times they say like they call it the witching hour or the spirit hour or whatever you want to call it, when the veil is at its thinnest is between like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Right.
And I think that has something to do with the fact that that's when it's the most calm here. And we're not like fighting their energy. And so they can come through easier
Your
is
mind
kind
is
of what
a little
I'm
more
feeling.
relaxed.
Exactly.
Really quick, if we can just jump back to that first question,
Sure.
because there was something we didn't address
Sure.
about what they do for fun.
Okay.
And and I can't believe I forgot it, but I have to address it.
Okay.
Is the whole paranormal thing and ghost hunting and stuff like that, they do this. They're there, okay?
Yeah.
They can't help that they're there. This is their energy, and they have to go somewhere. So if they want to go and watch these guys ghost hunt
Yeah.
and knock something over or make a chill in the air, they can do that.
Yes.
They do have certain energy that they can do. It's not meant to cause blood, guts, and gore and fear in our minds.
Right.
They're having fun.
Yes. This is true.
They are poking when they make the light bulb blow out.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They get a kick out of it.
They do.
Because they think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That we're thinking that there's a demon that's going to come out from behind that dark corner.
Right.
And just unleash all hell
They do
on
that.
everybody.
They do that too when we take things too seriously. Like the
Yes.
other day, you were going on about something, and Rob, I could
Oh,
see
yeah.
him behind you making fun of you. They like to be silly and have fun. And their vibrations are like we couldn't even understand what
Right.
their vibrations feel like. So they're not like
It's
upset
so much
about
more
anything.
positive.
Yeah.
It's
oh
all
yeah.
positive.
Absolutely. So,
Anyways,
yeah.
I had to address that because that is part of the fun.
Yeah, no, glad you did for sure. So, okay, so we were talking about why are spirits more active at night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the veil is lifted more, I think, between that time because we are less active and that, you can imagine like how hard it must be for them to get their energy through when it's negative that they're trying to get through.
Yeah.
So if you're asleep, then that's easier for them to come through. Now, for people like myself that are sensitive to this, this is one of the reasons why I'm addressing this. I believe Dustin asked this. How do you turn it off? How do you make it so that you can sleep at night without these spirits being super active and keeping you awake?
Ask.
Yes. That was one of the very first things that I did because I was so afraid that I was going to go to sleep. I wasn't going to be able to sleep that first night after I learned about my abilities. And so like a few days later, I remember hearing, you just ask for what you want. Just whatever it is that you don't like that the spirits are doing, then you tell them not to do that. And they will listen. And they always have. They've always listened to me. I will occasionally, like, when I'm falling asleep, I get things. I'll start to get visions. And what sucks about that is that I can't write them down, and I usually don't remember them.
Right.
So they're just kind of gone. And sometimes I think that they do that on purpose because then, like, most of the time, well, I would say like 90% of the time, they're good things. And I know they're good things because I feel good. I go to sleep and I'm not stressed out. And so
Right.
I think that that's like their way of saying, okay, you might not remember this, but you'll remember the feeling
Right.
of how it made you feel that,
Right.
it was okay. I also do hear them a lot when I wake up between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. So at first that was really annoying because it was just some really random stuff, like things about what I was going to do the next day that I don't care. I'm trying to sleep. Leave me alone.
Right.
So what the rule that I set there was, if you're going to tell me things between those hours, those are important things. Right. They're not things like you're going to go to the mall the next day. Okay. I don't care. They have to be big things. So you can kind of set. At the beginning, I asked them not to talk to me in the shower, anybody except my mom. My mom was cool. Now it doesn't bother me because I know that they're not looking at anything like that. But It was for me. It made me uncomfortable at first. So anything like that, you have to set it. But here's the big thing. You have to believe it, too. Mm-hmm. You can't lay there in bed at night and go, well, I hope that they listen to me. Right. You have to believe. You have to tell them before you go to bed again, okay, I'm going to sleep now, so I expect that between now and when I wake up, you're not going to talk to me. Right. And that's the way it has to be. Yeah. It's like, I hate to say this, but sometimes it's like talking to a child, because you have to set the boundaries for them.
But every spirit respects the other's boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
Every single one.
Every one. I've never had any issues since I've set the boundaries. I haven't had any issues at all.
Something I forgot to share with you was that, remember how I found the pocket knife that I got from my ex-brother-in-law when he passed? And we were in the process of moving. Yeah. And I went to grab my backpack, and I had stashed it in there. Yeah. Thinking, for whatever reason, I'll find that later. And then I got out of my car because I opened up that pocket the other day. As I was getting out of my car, I had something put in there, and I saw it in there, and I thought, I heard this loud and clear. It was like a thought, but it was so loud, and it made me stop and just kind of look around and just take the moment. But it was like I wanted you to remember moving day. Because my first house, he's the one that told my ex-wife and I about this lottery that you could get for this. It was a very small housing tract that they built, and we were low income, so we did it. We applied. I think our number was 111.
That's so awesome.
And we got it, and he passed away shortly after. Yeah. We had a lot of debt, even with that house. We owed a lot of money. To our parents, and when he passed away, we were able to, my ex-wife got from her mom to pay that debt off, right, and be like free and clear. Yeah, it's amazing how that works. And to get a car, and his the car, my license plate had his birthday. I believe it was his birthday or his death date. Yeah, on it. It was just incredible, and it made me stop. And he goes, "I just want you to remember." Yeah. Even though, this isn't the same house. Right. It's the feeling I got. He's like, I want you to remember moving day. And I'm like, what? And then I realized, it's not the house, but that I'm still here. Right. Totally. I'm totally involved.
Yeah, just in a different way. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Even though this wasn't my call, this one. Yeah. This was probably more Linda and Oma.
Oh, this move? Yeah. Well, the two Omas. And there's been some strange things. I'm sure that, through our episodes, we'll get into some of those things, but... Yeah, it's wild now, the things that happen to us. But anyways, okay. So let's do a reading, because we should do that. Okay. So actually Shannon submitted this, and she gave us so many of these questions. I'm going to start with hers. Okay. She says, this is my grandma Agnes. My question for her is, what is your favorite thing to do in heaven? Please and thank you. Okay, so let's talk to Agnes. And let me tell you. I'm
excited to hear some of these answers.
You know what? Me too, because these spirits have been driving me crazy all day. And I really didn't realize why. I didn't put two and two together that we were doing this episode and that there was major activity going on with the spirits. And then all of a sudden we were talking, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. But yeah, they've been all day going. None of these ones, that's why I don't look at these. I screenshot them so I have them, but I don't read them or look at them, because if I did, these people would have already been bothering me too. No offense, spirits. Right. It's just it gets to be too much. You guys gotta back down a little bit. Right. Relax.
Everybody line up. Yeah. Single file line.
Oh, and I totally saw that,
I can just see your mom right now. Now, everybody get in line. Don't push. Don't.
She did that the first night that I found out about my abilities. Yeah. She was like, there's a line here, but I have it under control.
And keep it short.
Oh, keep it short. Okay, so anyway, sorry. Let's talk to Agnes. Agnes doesn't find us funny. I think we're funny. Oh my God, that was so funny. She was just like, that really wasn't funny. You guys really,
She
and
looks
all
dry.
she's doing is showing her personality. So this is not
She's
how
not
she
being
is on
rude.
the other side. She's not
No.
being rude. She is showing us her personality.
She looks very dry.
Oh my
in the
God,
photo.
that was so funny. That was so funny. Okay. I love it when they do that kind of stuff because she immediately was like, that's not funny. Okay. But yeah, she is funny though. It's not, I don't think it's that she didn't have a sense of humor. I think that her sense of humor, like you said, was very, very dry.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah.
That picture is funny.
It's funny,
That-
yeah.
Not funny looking, just the expression.
Yeah.
I exactly what
You got the
she's
exact
saying
same
in
thing.
the picture.
Yep, exactly. So, okay. So anyways, so what is your favorite thing to do in heaven, Agnes? Okay. So she likes to do exactly what she did just now. She likes to make people laugh and do things that they don't realize that she's doing to make them laugh. Believe it or not, I know that this may sound really weird, but these spirits have a lot more control of things than we actually realize.
Oh, yeah.
There is so much activity going on that is their control
Right.
that if you guys could get into my head and see how it is just totally controlled by them. I'll give you an example. The other day I was sitting on we have a front courtyard now, okay? And I was sitting out there with the dogs. And all of a sudden, this bee started flying around. And the dogs started going for it. It was a big bumblebee, and they started going for it. And I was like, all right, boys, come on, let's get inside. But at first, I wasn't going to take them inside. I was just waiting for the bee to leave.
Right.
Well, the bee wasn't leaving. It was taunting them. And so we went in the house. The FedEx guy pulled up immediately after that. And our black lab wants to kill the FedEx guy, the UPS guy, the mailman, all
Yeah.
those people. So
Anything in a uniform.
right. So my point of sharing this story is that somebody did that bee to alert me to
Yeah.
take the dogs in the house.
Yep.
So Agnes likes to do those types of things, but in comedy. She likes to make people laugh.
I wonder if she was funny in life or was she dry in life and therefore she's loving that side of her now so much that she does that.
Well, what I'm feeling is that she did have that really dry sense of humor.
Okay.
She reminds me of a lot of my mom reminds me of Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the two kind of in her as well, but even like a little bit drier. It's hard to explain. I understand what her sense of humor is, and it's an interesting one. So the reason why she uses this is because she uses it with her family, and they are supposed to recognize that this is her playing this trick or this joke or whatever it is, and so it's fun for her to do because she can then see who is going to actually recognize that this is her.
Yeah.
I think for them that is fun, that they like to be like, oh yeah, they recognize that was me,
Yeah.
like they're proud when I recognize that bee. I heard all my spirit team going yay,
Right.
because that's what they want, for us to go, okay, that was Agnes that just did that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because it's the connection.
Yes.
It's the ultimate proof, even though some people are like, what are you two talking about? Bumblebees and butterflies flying around? And it's proof? Well, if you look a little closer,
Yeah.
again, to this veil that I talk about, and you pull that aside a little bit, you can see that.
Yes.
You can see the interaction and the way that it is. And it's the more that I believe it, the more it happens.
Yes.
And the more it's more than obvious.
Yes. Absolutely. So I was just telling Agnes that I liked the way that she did this reading with me because she showed her what we could validate was her,
Yeah.
as well as answered the question at the same time.
Perfect.
So hear that, spirits? That I like it.
Yeah.
So we can do that more. So anyways, Shannon, I hope that answers your question. And Agnes, I appreciate that reading. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Agnes.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
Shannon.
Agnes. Okay. What else we got here? Can our loved ones protect us and alter the way things happen? Yes.
Yes.
This is what I truly believe they spend most of their time doing, is protecting us and trying to keep us on our path. Mm-hmm. The more that we recognize that, the more involved they are. This is what is the most important to them. There are things that I really should keep notes of the things that happen to us to protect us from things, even stupid things. Like there was one day that we were going back and forth between the old house and the new house, and Danny and Marina were at the new house and I was at the old house, and I just didn't feel like I should go to the new house. Like something told me, don't go. Just stay home. Don't go. The dogs were upset. They were acting weird. There were so many things that were telling me to stay home, and I did not listen. Now, I was worried about this because I knew, I was like, they're trying to tell me to stay home, but sometimes I want to know why. And this day I found out why. Nothing bad happened to me. I just messed up. I tried to build a table that I picked out that I loved, and I messed it up. Really messed it up. So they were trying to protect me from going over there and building furniture that I had no business building. We all learned the lesson the hard way that you do not ask me to build furniture. They were trying to protect me from that. So that's just an example.
But they also protected you because when you contacted the people and asked for replacement parts, they said, we'll just send you a brand new one. Yes,
and that is a good lesson, too, is that actually, okay, so Samantha 10 years ago would have probably said to them, this came faulty. There was something wrong with it. You please send me another one because it got messed up in shipping. And I heard the voice, and it was just like,
tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
And so I emailed and I said, I messed it up. I said, can I get replacement parts or whatever? I offered to pay for them, whatever I have to do because I love this table, and they were like, we're just going to send you a whole new table.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And that just showed me that, you do. Telling the truth will get you what you want because you're doing the right thing. You're telling the truth, which is what the universe wants you to do.
What was that company?
That was... Wayfair? It was Wayfair. Yeah.
Well, good business, Wayfair.
I've had great experiences through this with Wayfair, Living Spaces, and Overstock, I have to say, with their customer service. For anybody that's looking for furniture or moving, there's a little ad for those. Right. Like, I was a little bit leery about Wayfair after we heard that they were locking children in cabinets. Yeah. Which is not true. No. But, everything there was good. So anyways, So that's just a little example of what they can do to protect us. It can go farther than that. Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, he was supposed to be on one of those 9/11 flights, and his alarm did not go off, even though he said it. It was set at the right time. It did not go off. Those types of things are signs. They're things for us to say, whoa. Right. Why did this happen? And it works the other way, too. Like, today we went to get us some tea, and there was a guy that was in line, or he was going to get in line. He forgot his mask. He had to go all the way back to his car. So I got to one up in line, and I was thinking about this. Those things happen to us to make our day line up the way it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. When somebody cuts us off in traffic, it's trying to help us to let the day line up the way it's supposed to slow us down. Yeah. You'll notice things that slow you down. You're stuck at that drive-through. The light is too long. These are things that are controlling your day. Right. This is how much control there is in this universe if we just allow it to do its job.
Because you think about that, and this is kind of bizarre, not bizarre. To people it might be, to me it's not. There is alternate universes, there's alternate things happening, and so in order for this life to go the way that it's supposed to, according to the plan you made before you came here, they have to get involved and make sure that certain events do happen and don't happen.
Exactly.
Right? Yep. Because then all of a sudden you're crossing into different universes, different stories. So that's where they say, oh, there's this potential accident 5 miles up the road. Right. I'm going to tell them or show them, you need to turn and go somewhere else, right? A different way. Yes. That's their job. They're doing their job. Yes. Our job is to quiet our minds to a certain degree in life, to get connected and rely on our intuition and those signs to guide us.
That's exactly right.
Some people might go, I don't want to get up every morning and, I can barely think straight. I'm just trying to get my coffee, let alone think about, all these other signs and ways to go. Well, sometimes they could mean a life and death situation. Sometimes it could mean a brand new career.
Right.
I don't know what it could be.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point is, their job is to do what they're doing. Our job is to stop and listen.
Right. Exactly.
Look and listen.
If you have to ask yourself, was that a sign? That was a sign.
Yeah.
It absolutely was a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big thing that I've learned. And that if you're supposed to be somewhere, you will be there. And if you're not supposed to. And yes, there is free will. And Seth MacFarlane could have pushed through and gotten on that flight that day. And then he used his free will and it's game over. What do you say at that point? You've used your free will. Mm-hmm. So whatever those things are, those boundaries that are thrown up, always listen to those boundaries. Yeah. That's something that I've learned especially you might have one thing that happens that slows you down. If the dogs were upset that day when I shouldn't have gone to the house and built the furniture, if that was the only thing that said don't go, then I probably just would have overlooked it. But when you have multiple things that are building up, you got to listen to those.
Yeah.
So those are really, it's the universe stepping in. I wish that
you
I
said
could
you
show
made a
you
great
all.
point of the free will. It's like your free will get in your way every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That it will.
Unless your free will is lined up with them.
Right.
Meaning
Exactly.
you want to do what's right. You want to do what's good. You want to do what's safe. You want to do what's honorable.
Right.
Caring, all those things that is what makes up their energy.
Yep.
Isn't the negative and the fear and the death it's all the positive things.
Yeah.
If you're lined up with that, then your free will's going to get you everywhere you want to go in life.
Yep.
If it's not, and it's the opposite, it's going against the grain of what they're showing and suggesting, you're going to find yourself probably a lot of the times miserable.
Yep. I agree. Yep. Okay, let's see. Another question. I like this question. You're going to like this question.
Uh-oh.
Do aliens have the same heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think you go more by what Dolores says on this. My take on this, which is still, they're very similar, but my take on this is that we are all aliens.
Absolutely.
We're aliens. The creatures on other planets are aliens.
Other universes.
Everybody is an alien. It's what's
Yes.
inside. Our souls are all the same. So yes, we all go to the same heaven.
Yes.
That's the short answer.
Yes.
And I think Dolores said something about it. You were telling me too, right?
Yes, my belief is that they do. And actually, that these are, of some of these species, are there species that are in other universes and even our universe that are maybe you don't want to kind of get near and mess with? Yeah, there's some not friendly people.
Yeah.
Beings.
Yeah.
And that goes for us.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, they're around and they watch and they show themselves, but they're afraid to connect with us because we are one of those aliens.
Yep.
We are the hotheads.
We are the hothead planet.
So they avoid us, but they know that we're kind of maybe not on the intelligence level scale nearly as capable as they are.
Yep.
I believe that a lot of these good beings are actually custodians of the universe, which is a title of one of Dolores's books, and that they go to other planets and they are seeding them.
Yeah.
They are helping evolution. I don't believe that we came up from apes.
No.
Okay, I don't believe in Darwin theory.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the theory of that evolution that we started as apes and monkeys. And I also don't really believe that in the analogy of Adam and Eve per se. But again, that's a metaphor.
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel
metaphor,
like
for
in
sure.
the Bible it's more metaphoric, but it's taken literally.
Right.
So I believe that they are beings that are all over every universe that go in and they help life.
Yep.
They help life evolve and they seed, and that's why you get what we would call abductions, but they're not abductions.
They're not abductions.
Because people are returned.
Yes.
They are borrowed for testing to see how is it going.
and we have to do an episode on aliens because there's so much that we have learned, and like I've been working with one of our listeners, Dustin. He had an alien experience that he couldn't remember, like he remembered bits and pieces of it. So I did like kind of like a regression with him to try and see what I saw. And so we really need to talk about these things because really, like you said, they're not abducting, they're actually asking our permission. If we don't remember, then that's just a part of what their whole thing is. Like, you know, but they ask, we're going to do this. We're going to return you. We're not going to hurt you. We're just trying to study. They do this to people that they know are safe to do this to. So I think we need to do an episode on this. And
it's been witnessed by people.
Yes.
You know, we have a lot of stories of people with, you know, lapsed time in the day that they don't know where they were for 4 to 6 hours.
Yep.
So many people can believe that that's hogwash too, but no, I don't. I believe that they are souls, and they are working more for the greater good in the universe than the humans are and have been in our whole existence.
Right.
Okay? They're doing better.
Yep.
Way better.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get close to us to show us we can show you how to do it better. But goddamn, put your missiles down.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
We don't have to fight.
We're not here to fight.
Yeah.
Because if you think for 1 second that a missile's going to do anything to these guys,
no,
they'll turn that thing right around back on us.
Are you kidding? We are like, we're not only the hotheads, but we're one of like the least sophisticated planets and the least like technologically advanced.
Right.
They could blow us away right now if they wanted to, but they don't want to because they're not like us.
If anything, they get involved when we start to do it to each other.
Yep.
They start mysteriously unarming nuclear warheads,
killing off people.
Anything that comes out of the atmosphere into space, that's where they're not a satellite, but a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's where they're like, no, keep your shit in your yard.
Right.
We don't want it out here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they'd let us destroy ourselves. I think they would help us.
They will somehow intervene.
Somehow, yeah, because it's not looking good.
But they don't, and I've read in this and with Dolores too, that a lot of these beings have messed with nuclear power in the past, and they don't because it's so volatile and toxic that there's other elements actually that are on this planet right now that we could use in place of nuclear power, but we have not discovered it. As far as I know.
Haven't, because we're a money-hungry planet too. Mm-hmm. So, okay, well, let's move on.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to do this reading and this question that kind of go together.
Okay.
The question was, do all miscarried babies have souls? And if so, do they hang around like the loved ones like other spirits do? So this is my interpretation of how this works. And again, this is just my interpretation. A soul is a soul. Mm-hmm. Okay. So like I was told that I could have 2 kids if I wanted to have 2 kids. Those souls are there. I've never been pregnant. I've never had anything like a miscarriage, nothing at all. Mm-hmm. So for me, that soul didn't come in. Okay. So maybe we think that maybe Marina was the female soul that was supposed to come in. Okay. So you have these souls they're waiting to come in. They will find another way. Now, let's say that you have a miscarriage like this question. Okay. And that soul, in my eyes, is not even in there yet. I believe that the soul does not come in until it feels like it, kind of like, which is usually after birth.
Yeah.
But you get to choose if you want to, when
experience the birth process. However, I think most of us realize that as time goes on, we don't remember that.
Right. Yes.
Consciously.
Right.
Maybe subconsciously, there's a theory that we all suffer this trauma of it. But you're absolutely right. I kind of believe that, and kind of, it's somewhere between birth and about 3 to 6 months.
I would think so. I would think, you don't remember those times, but it's weird if you like look at babies. You can tell that they're just like little old souls that they change. They start to become more, less of their old life. I don't know how to explain this. Like when you reincarnate, it's almost like you can see that soul of the previous life there, and then it starts to fade as they get older. It's a trip.
And even when they're looking kind of at themselves, and discovering their hands, there's some sort of, I don't know, especially with Marina, I noticed this, that it felt like yeah, she was discovering it, but it was almost like
Whoa.
familiar.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I'm back. I got these things.
That's what I
again.
was thinking. Like, okay, we're here again. Like,
Yeah.
because we don't remember infancy, so it's
Right.
very possible that we don't remember it because during that time we're like remembering our old lives, our past life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then that starts to fade. Anyways, so one of my things is that like I don't want to say I'm pro-abortion because I think everybody has the right to choose. But I will
Right.
say that if you have ever had an abortion, don't feel guilty for it because that soul wasn't there yet.
No, come on. I mean, why would we want to sit and lock up in a tummy for 9 months?
Right.
When you can be a lot more useful doing other things to help maybe your soon-to-be mother.
Right.
Or father. Or
Right.
siblings or other family members that you're soon to meet.
Right.
Maybe you came back relatively quick, and
Right.
there's people you've already met that you need to get here as soon as possible, so you're old enough to maybe help them when they need it.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, I don't believe that the soul is hanging out in that tummy for 9 months.
No, I don't believe that either. And if you look also at the fact of everything happens for a reason and everything is a life story and a life journey. That, you know, if you're faced with having to have an abortion because, you know, you were raped or you don't want to have a baby right now, you're not ready to have that child right now, then that's how it's supposed to go for you. That's the story for you. That's your challenge. And others shouldn't be able to tell people how their story's supposed to go in my eyes. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
No.
If that soul is ready to be here, it will be here, it will come here, and it will stay. And so then we look also at the children that die young. In any of these cases, I feel like this could be that the body it wasn't ready. So like the body wasn't right. Like there was a problem.
That's
okay?
one.
Right.
Yeah.
So like a miscarriage, you know, a lot of times that's just the soul saying, I'm not ready for this, or
Right.
this body would not have been healthy enough.
Like SIDS.
Yes.
Which is an unexplained syndrome. And I knew a lady that lost her child to one, and I've heard several stories about it. And I think that's the soul saying, I'm not ready for this.
Yes.
I'm not
ready. Absolutely, that is. And that's hard. And that's, I wish that wasn't a thing because SIDS is very scary. Like, I remember when my brother was born and that was something that we worried about, you know. You shouldn't have to worry about that, but I mean, you have to worry about sudden death.
Right.
Well, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
but,
'cause when I was
you know,
born-
sudden death happens to everybody, you know, to anybody.
Right. And then when I was born, that whole theory of you put the baby on the back,
Yeah.
they changed that.
Yeah.
Once SIDS came along, they're like, now you put the baby on the tummy.
Yeah. Because they don't know, because it happens because the soul isn't ready. And so there's no explained reason why it goes, you know, physical reason.
Right.
It's just that the soul.
And I would come in the
just
morning
ready.
and see Marina like sprawled out on her back.
Yeah.
After you left her on her tummy, you know, you're like, oh my God, wake up.
Yeah. What a horrible thing to have to worry about, you know?
It's terrible.
But, yeah. But, okay, so I wanted to answer that question because of this reading. I'm already, as you can tell, snotty.
Uh-oh.
I know. So, this is Melissa. This is my son Tyler. He was born with a heart defect and died at exactly 1 month old on Valentine's Day. It has been 30 years and I think about him every day. I always ask him to keep an eye on his brother, my 25-year-old son. My question is, does he watch over him or has he moved on? Okay, you're not going to believe the answer to this question.
Oh, great.
And I already had it before you asked, before you said about your 25-year-old son, is that the child that you lost, the Tyler, is your 25-year-old son.
Yeah.
So does he look over him? No, because he is him. That is wild. Mm-hmm. That is pretty wild. That's the first time that I can say that that's happened to me.
Does she tell you what the time span was from the
5 years?
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
Yep.
Especially, keep this in consideration, that all of our souls' ages are different, right?
Yes.
So some of us have been in many lives, and some of us haven't.
Right.
So it's very possible that Tyler, in his first time, was so young as a soul that he didn't require a lot of rest time when he came back to the other side.
Absolutely.
So he was more like Maybe he just got sketched or scared, or something wasn't lined up right on this side
Right.
in her life
Right.
for it to be good.
Yes.
But once it was lined up, and something tells me something wasn't ready in her life.
Actually, what I got while you were talking about this is that this was a lesson. It was a something that was supposed to happen. It was something that was predetermined with these two souls. And I don't really, you have to kind of answer that within yourself. Like, I can tell you that my mom died for a reason. And if I would have told you that right after my mom died, I wouldn't have been happy with you. But it's true.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. And 30 years later, you may be able to see why. I mean, if you look at your 25-year-old son, you can now be like, whoa, I got, wait, what?
And you may never know the
It's so
answer
cool.
in this life.
Yeah.
But you will know the answer once you go.
Exactly. But
You'll know
yeah.
why he came and went.
These things all happen for a reason, and he just wasn't ready, I think, to be in that body. That body had a defect, like you said, it had a defect, and that defect was to set him free from what I'm feeling, set him free from that life, and also to teach a life lesson in the process. And then he comes back when the lesson is learned. So think about, I'd like to know if you could, let me know. This is why I love having the person here so that they can validate for me. But I think there's something in those 5 years that happened, a life experience, something, this just changed you. It changed something about your life. So much so that that's why he came back at that 5-year period, because you had learned that. So think about that. What was it in those 5 years that you learned?
Right.
And maybe that'll answer the question for you. But this is so cool. I love this. I've never had this happen. So congratulations on having your son back.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That
I mean,
is
it
cool.
sucks that he had to leave when he did, but the fact that he was able to come back to you is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
It's wonderful.
Okay. Whew. I got through that without crying.
Good job.
The tears are a little bit, but okay. Let's see. Do they pray? Is the next question. This was another one that I was kind of like, how do you explain this? They were like, when I connected on it originally, when I read it, they were like, don't think about this now. We'll talk to you about this on the show. So I feel like this is what they're going to be telling me now. So I'm learning as well.
Can I just
Yes.
interject to see if
Do
I'm
it.
close to what they say?
Yes.
They live in the light.
Yeah.
They live in the prayer.
Right.
They are the prayer.
Right.
That's how they live their life
Yeah.
on that side.
Yep.
They don't need to pray. They are the prayer.
That's it. They're the answers of the prayers.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pray because
They
they're
do
the
the
answers.
work.
Yeah.
They are the people that are answering the prayers. They do that solely. Wow, this is coming on heavy.
Yeah.
They do that
it's all
because
day.
every soul, and I don't care if it's anywhere from Gandhi to Hitler, they're all attracted to this light, this energy. And all they want to do is they're like a dog that just wants to be told, good boy or
Yeah.
good girl. That's all they want.
Yep.
They want to please the energy, the positive. They want to do good.
Right.
There is no desire to get involved and be a wrench in the gears and start jacking things up.
Right.
That's not what, and if it appears like that in your life, maybe they're trying to get you out of something.
Yeah.
But
yeah. for
they
sure.
don't need to pray. And I would say, no, they don't pray because they are the answers to the prayer.
Yep.
That is a
You hit it.
human thing, and that comes with faith. They don't need faith because they live there. They know it's true.
That was exactly what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly what was about to come out of my mouth. So there you have it.
Thank you.
That's the.
I just came on strong, and I was like, can I just answer this?
No, I'm
'Cause I
glad
think
you did.
They
It
want
just
me to say this.
It just validated how I was feeling about it for sure. So no, I'm glad you did. Okay, snotty. Okay, let's see how much time we got. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question and at least one more reading.
Okay.
Okay, does it make our loved ones in heaven sad when bad things happen on earth to loved ones? No.
No.
Sad is not a word in their vocabulary.
It's all for a greater purpose.
Yes, and it's all predetermined.
Right.
It's all just, it's like, I always say that it's like a treadmill, like but kind of like, what are those called that you can walk faster on it or slower. Right. That's kind of how life moves. Right. If you're going to resist these changes, then life's going to move slower. And if you're going to go with these changes, then life is going to move faster. And sometimes bad things have to happen to make you go in the direction that you are going to go in. Right. COVID is a great example as a mass change. Our loved ones on the other side are not sitting there going, oh, this COVID is horrible.
Nope.
They're going, okay, let's do this. Let's change people's lives. And some people, unfortunately, came out worse from COVID. Yeah. And that's very sad. And I hate that. But these are things that are thrown at us because we're supposed to experience them. Just like my mom dying. Worst thing that I could think of that happened. Now I look at it and I'm like, damn, it was actually worked out in my favor.
Right. Well, like take, for example, the lady that you just did the reading for with their son. What was her name again?
Was that Melissa? I think it was Melissa.
The 25-year-old?
Yes, Melissa.
Melissa. Okay, Melissa and Tyler. Right. So let's take, for example, let's say Melissa had a family member that older than herself that had already passed. And they witnessed from the other side Tyler being born the first time, passing, and coming back to the other side. Right. That family member was not sad when Tyler came back to the other side. Right. And was like, oh my, when they left. Or sad when they left. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so sad that you had to leave. No. There was a bigger picture. There's a reason. They see it. They know it. It's available to us when we go there. Yes. Places of knowledge and wisdom. There is a hallway that has a quilt that's on this wall of this hallway. Yeah, in heaven. In heaven, that stretches forever. And you can see the whole history of our world. Yeah. In the fabrics of this quilt. Right. You can stand there and stare at it, and you can see any time in even things that haven't happened. So you have to understand their knowledge is so vast. Yes. Of what's going on here. They know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. Yeah. So everything has a bigger picture. So no, they're not sad. Right. I think if anything, they might have a little bit of disappointment in us when we act a certain way towards each other. Yes, I could feel that for sure. Yes. But I also think it's important to point out that things like anger, fear, resentment, any of those feelings, those are not spirit feelings. No. Those are human-based feelings. And when you go to ego-based. Ego-based, yes. Yeah. When you go to the other side, those are gone. You do not hold resentment for anybody. You know, the person that you hated the most in life, you see them on the other side and you're going to enjoy their company just as much as anybody else is. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's a happy place. Right. That's why, like, for me, one of the ways that I've taught myself about my abilities is that I know that if I'm hearing something negative, unless it's my mother will say sarcastic things so that I know that it's my mother. But if I'm hearing negativity, it's my own brain. I know that it's my own brain. Anything negative about myself, about if I'm doing something wrong, they will very kindly point it out to me. They will stop me and say, okay, now let's look at this. They're not like, why are you doing this? That's not how spirits are. That's not how any of us will be when we get there. So they don't have those kind of emotions. And I felt like that was important to point out. Yeah, they don't. It's funny. Like when you go in this, after this life, when you go there, I'm not going to be Danny. Right. You're not going to be Samantha. No. I will realize all the lives I've lived and the lessons that I had to learn. But any resentment and bitterness that I have in this life or had, that's gone. Exactly. It's completely gone. Yes. That's why they want us to let go of it while we're here. Mm-hmm. Because what's the point of holding on to it here when it's not going to be a thing there? It's like I can hold resentment for a lot of people in my life, things that they've done in the past. I'm at the point where I just realize that everything's a part of my story. Mm-hmm. And I have, there's damage that I have that,
that just sticks there. But that's not the other person's fault either. Like, the way that your story was supposed to go with them is the way that it was supposed to go with them.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to look at the bigger picture of things. Is, you know, there's learning lessons for both of you on things, and then you both get to the other side, and it's understood. You understand why you experience these things together. I think if more people knew that while they were here, they would see, okay, well, this person wasn't really great to me in this life, you know, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that was how the story was supposed to go, you know?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. I think we should do one more reading.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Kate. She says, my favorite person, my grandma Elsie Carpenter Wheeler. My family is going through a rough time with her son, Leighton. Any words of advice? Okay. Grandma Elsie. She was a fun grandma. She liked to have a good time. This is... Oops, I turned it off. I always like to show Danny the pictures. That's...
On the left?
Kate, yeah, and with her grandma.
Cool.
Okay.
And what's grandma's name?
Elsie.
Elsie.
So Elsie was one of those people that she didn't feel her age emotionally. Her body was aging, but she emotionally felt like she was your age. So, like, in this picture, she feels more like your friend than your grandmother. Like,
the body language acts that way.
She relates to you. She related to you on a different kind of level, and related to the younger people on a different. She comes off very hippie-ish to me.
Right.
She liked having the younger people around. It kept her feeling young.
That's cool.
She didn't really... She says, I didn't like to hang out with the old people, is what she says. Yeah, because then it made her feel older. I can understand that. Because there are, if you think about it, when you get older, there's like two types of old people. The ones that know they're old and act old, and the ones that don't act old. Right. You know? I think I'm going to be one of those that doesn't know she's old, because I already... Until I look in the mirror, and then I'm like, oh... What happened? Anyways, back to Elsie. Okay, so the question was, my family is going through a rough time with her son, Leighton. Any words of advice? Okay. What can you do, is what she says. What can you do that could change him? And the answer to that is nothing. He's the one that has to want to change himself, and right now he doesn't. And so anybody trying to change him, it's not going to work. This is where I wish there was validation, because we could get deeper into this. And Kate, if you'd like to get deeper into this, please message me, because we can. It's just him. He is... I don't want to say he's the only problem, okay, because everybody in the situation is a different kind of problem, but he is the source of the problem. And if the people in the situation, what I'm feeling is, if the people in the situation just take some steps back, that he is going, first of all, it's going to make him feel like everybody isn't on top of him, is what I'm feeling. This may have something to do with drugs, something like that, addiction, mental illness, something along those lines. But what I'm feeling is that when the people that are putting pressure on him for whatever it is that they are, he's feeling a lot of pressure. And once they pull back from that pressure, it's like the opposite of an intervention. It's like pulling back.
It's
tough
like
love.
reverse psychology.
Right, almost. Exactly. Or like tough love. Almost. You pull back, and then he goes, well, wait, why did they do that? Right. Was it me? Why did they all do that? So I feel like you have to let him just do what he's going to do, and everybody needs to take a few steps back. Yeah. Something that you have to understand about life, we all need to understand that this, is that the only person that has control of a person's life is themselves. Yeah. And they have to want to change. They have to want something different for their life. We cannot control what other people do. Mm-mm. And the more that a lot of times we push people, the worse it is. Yeah. He needs to make his own decisions. He needs to be his own person. He is a grown man. And she's telling me that at this point, everybody just needs to back off. Yeah. Is what I'm feeling. So.
And every soul has a path and a lesson.
Yes.
And unfortunately, sometimes those souls have to hit a kind of a rock bottom.
Yes.
before they want to not be in that anymore.
Yes. And you can't pull them up from rock bottom. You
No.
just can't. I don't.
We can't save anybody from themselves.
No, we can't. So, his life is his life, and he has some lessons that he has to learn, and he's done some things. I don't know if what I'm feeling is jail time, and there's something to do with possibly kleptomania, stealing. I don't know if this is current or it is past, but what she's showing me is that this was a problem either currently or was. But this is his path. This is what he's choosing, and you can't change what somebody chooses as much as you want to. You just can't.
No, we have to do our best, I guess, to just be an example.
Yep.
And show him, you love him, and you can express to him that you're concerned.
Right.
And maybe even some of the potential consequences. But if he's been to jail, he's definitely aware of consequences. She
is telling me that it's not going to change.
Right.
So with that information, you can take it, and I just think if everybody backed off and didn't, it would be easier, is what she's saying. So I wish I had better news on that. But hopefully he can find his path, and maybe if everybody does back off, then the universe can step in and start working with him a little bit more. Because when you have the universe in one ear, your own thoughts, and other people barking at you, it shuts everything down. So hopefully, if he just has that time to maybe see what's going on, that's what I'm hoping. And she says that they are going to work on him, but he's going to do what he's going to do. Right. So there's that.
All right.
Yeah. So yay.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yes, that was a good one.
Thank you, Elsie, for giving us
thanks for
information.
coming through. Thank you for all the spirits that came through
Yes.
today, and for everybody and their questions, and for your reading submissions. I love to do these kinds of episodes. We get a lot. I learned a lot because this is how I learn. Like, I don't just know the answers to these questions. I have to listen to the other side, and they teach me.
Right.
And it's like, one of the ways that I tell people, like, that these abilities that I have are real, because I can't make this shit up.
Right.
Like, I'm not that good of a storyteller. I'm really not. These things, I just sit here and they just start coming.
And sometimes they come with such a flood of emotion.
Oh,
it's like, it's real.
Yep.
Because they're pushing it, like, even on me, they're like, you need to share that. Like, you need to, like, speak the truth here.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like, it's not sad news, but it's just emotionally overwhelming.
It is. Yes. There are a lot of emotions that when you're connected to this, it's just like, oof, all of a sudden. Like, I was just telling you on the way here today that there was a song that reminded me of my mom, and I was just telling you the story, and my eyes start tearing up, and it's like, why? Like, I talk about my mom all day, every day, you know, but this particular story, it just brought tears to my eyes. That's them. That's them touching you and saying, like, we're here, and this is,
So the light just started blinking.
Shocking. Yeah, they've really been very active today.
Yeah.
It's true. Some days I forget I'm psychic. And some
That's funny.
It's true. And some days like today, I look at the outside world and I forget that people don't know what I know and what you know and see what I see.
I'm intuitive and I think I'm connected to a degree. I can't do it like you, but I do walk out some days and forget for a minute, and then I see a sign or numbers or something, and I go, "Oh yeah, that's right. There's much more to all this."
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I learn that more and more every day.
Me too, for sure. Yep.
So, awesome.
Yay! So, hope everyone enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, we should do it maybe.
I love these.
We should try to do these like, I don't know, a couple times in a month.
I don't got a problem with that. But they're fun.
Yeah,
I love the questions. And like I said, I learned too. We both do.
Yeah, we do.
I learned today.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well, thanks.
Yep.
We appreciate it, and all the angels and the people that have got involved, asked questions. And
if I didn't get to you, spirits and people, I apologize. There's still a line. I see it. I see my mom closing the gate.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
We got many more episodes.
Yep.
Both sides. Don't worry.
Yep.
Cool. Well, before we say goodbye to our friends, you want to share your page?
Yes, you can find out anything about me on my website, SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. If you'd like to reach us to give us show ideas or comments, questions, anything you have, spiritualjoneses@gmail.com.
Please.
Yes.
Awesome.
And you, sir?
Yes, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram and Facebook, and for the music, gypsybrown.com for the web, at gypsybrownmusic for Instagram, and at gypsybrownband for Facebook.
Yay.
Cool. Well, we've been talking about sharing a song pretty soon, so we might put one at the end of an episode here.
Oh, that would be so
maybe
cool.
Pretty soon.
That'd
to
be
share
cool.
What we've been doing.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
So we'll
Cool.
talk a little bit more about that after
Yeah.
we've completed our move and
Cool.
see which one we want to put up
Very good.
and let y'all hear.
Yay.
Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
Yep, we
and
do.
if we didn't get to you, please, next time we will.
Yep.
And we hope everybody has a wonderful week.
That we do.
Until next week, peace and love.